Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears and your eyes. Diva Divine Light, live from Brooklyn, New York.
Know your lane and what you saying, yo. Silly with my 9 milli with the dilly, yo. When I be on my yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club, I be wild in the studio. You don't wanna violate, nigga, really and truly, yo. My main thug, nigga named Julio, he moody, yo. I'm a nigga that'll slap me with the tulio. Bitch, nigga scared to death, act fruity, yo. Fuck that, look at shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way you shake it, make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. With no lanes and what you saying, yo.
Diva Divine Light.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
You're watching Diva, the Divine Light. A fun-loving, caring, passionate person who talks about sex, celebrity, and real-life issues, and even abuse. So hit that like button and make sure you share the show.
Really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you really my heart to me. Fuck me, see, that's what you got for me. Put more than hands with my eyes to see. Still $1 in the place to be. If you.
Here comes the pitch, and it comes in wide. On the go ball.
Spotlight. I have the amazing Drea Kelly in the house, beautiful choreographer, mother, dancer, actress, producer, and I'm going to say not survivor, but victor, champion. Drea, thank you so much for joining me.
That was quite the intro, Bam. Hold on. Yes, thank you.
You know, I just keep it real. I keep it 100.
Yes.
You are looking beautiful and elegant, and you always keep it right and tight. So before we start, what is the secret?
You know what? First of all, keeping God center, really keeping Him center in your life. Self-love, self-care, really getting into taking care of this temple, taking care of your goddess. And you know what? Shutting the outside world out. Like, it's about you. I often say what's more important is what goes from here to here, not from there to here.
Okay,
so it's about what we speak into our own lives and what we speak about ourselves that is important, far more important than people with their hashtags and they group and they gangsta thumb. So that
I live the way you said gangsta thumb.
You know, it's a lot of people out here with some gangsta thumbs, baby, but meet me in the Walmart parking lot. It's a whole other story. And it's crazy that that's the world that we live in. But what people don't understand is the venom and the hate that you spew says more about you than the person that you're putting it upon. Because you have to have a very dark spirit and a very dark soul to even think to say something like that to somebody. And then to go ahead and type in, like I often said, most of these people are butt naked, covered in peanut butter, living in their mama basement with a flashlight. So
girl, you can rap. You got flow. I'm telling you. Yes. Wisdom right there. I love it. I love it. You said living in the basement with a flashlight.
Like, come on now. There are so many other things that you could be doing with your time. Like, if you're going to be a blogger, then go to school, get a degree in journalism. Like, if you're really going to do this thing, but just to get out to spew hate, we live in a world that is so, I like to say, we live in a space where we are entertained by people's pain. And it's sad that we live in a world like that.
That is wise. That is wise. And I think in your situation, though, a lot of people have been inspired by what you've been through and your pain. And now, but before we get into all that, I want to talk about La Belle Jetée Cabaret and Burlesque, or Burlesque Cabaret. Tell me about it. Talk to us.
So, you know, La Belle Jetée Cabaret, the meaning of the name, La Belle is French for beautiful or the beautiful. And jetée, there's a grand jeté or jetée in ballet. So it's a big leap where you throw your leg and you try to get clean across the floor. So I've often said my life has been one big, beautiful leap. So that's where La Belle Jetée Cabaret comes from. I've always loved burlesque. I've actually, Bob Fosse-based jazz is my favorite art form when it comes to dance. Like, I absolutely love and adore it. And burlesque, I think it is just, it's that powerful space where women need to sit. Because here's the thing, we live in a world where we're crucified for the very thing we're told to be. You don't want to be matronly, you want to be sexy, you need to take care of yourself, that's how you get a man. But then when you wear too many lashes, you got on too much makeup, revealing too much, now you look like a whore. We live in a world that teaches men they should have virgin whores. They don't exist. You have to be pure as a driven snow, but you better get your Meg Thee Stallion on too. And it's like, listen, which one is it? So I created a space for women and a show for women where they could go see other women, especially of color, be beautiful, be sensual, be sexy, and titillate and tease and like live in that woman space, that thing that makes us so beautiful and men want us in the first place is that woman part of us. But where do we go to see that celebrated, especially here in Atlanta? This is strip club capital. And I'm like,
yes, it is.
And listen, don't nobody slide my DMs. Nothing against strippers. Get your money, girl. Get your money.
We ain't mad.
I'm not mad at you, but we still need to have balance. So there still needs to be a place where we can go to still see women be beautiful and sexy and celebrate the woman and the goddess. And it doesn't necessarily have to come down to being totally nude.
So that sounds beautiful. And so what are we going to see? Like, I think a lot of people don't know what burlesque is. They don't know the difference between a burlesque and stripping. And like, I'm like you, like, you know, mad respect for the strippers. I wish I could get on that pole. I would fall all the way off, you know, hit my head. It would be ugly. But what is the difference between burlesque and what will we see when we go there? And when you think about the burlesque shows that we have seen on TV, like Jocelyn Hernandez, it was really like a lot about the drama and the beef between the women. So talk to me about what we're seeing with you.
Well, this is no shade, but I'm a real formally trained, classically trained dancer. I think before you can put cabaret and burlesque on something, A, you need to be a dancer. That would be number one. B, you have to know the art of performance, costuming. So in our show, you see boas, you see evening gowns, garter belts, thigh highs, stilettos. And it really is the striptease. It is the art. It is getting into the mind and creating this space and keeping it sexy and very demure at the same time. The difference between the stripping and burlesque also is you cannot show your areola. So you have to keep your pasties on. And there was a time that you couldn't even open your legs and face the audience. So there are ground rules. Yes, there are ground rules. You must at all times, you know, keep the canyon covered, ma'am. Yes. So I don't care if you throw an extra $100. It's not sliding left or sliding right. Absolutely not.
No backroom lap dances.
No backroom lap dances. No. So it really is the element of dance too, through burlesque, especially in my show. You will see elements of ballet, jazz, modern, Bob Fosse-based jazz, some African. So you get to see it, the full spectrum of women as performers.
Yeah. Oh, that is beautiful. You know, another thing I wanted to talk to you about that I think is such an inspiration about you. You have been so open with your journey. You've written books, you've been on television, and you've talked about being a victim of a domestic violence, sexual and emotional.
That's Jasmine Summers. Her channel is Jasmine Summers. I put the link to her video in the chat. Please go follow, share, and subscribe. And this was done September 1st, 2022.
Emotional abuse and being so low at one point where you even wanted to commit suicide. Look at you now. you know, and you seem so happy and at peace. How did you overcome that challenge to get to where you are now? I think that would help a lot of women.
Well, first thing I want to tell women is that I'm not happy, I'm joyful, because
Ooh.
happy changes day to day. Joy is your God-given right, what we were born with. When you look at babies, they have so much joy. When they look at bubbles, when they see a butterfly, playing with a box, they have so much joy. We're all born with joy. Happiness changes day to day, depending on your circumstances. You might be happy today because it was a great day. Tomorrow you might not be. So I'm so happy that I didn't allow anyone to steal my joy. So that's what you see Drea walking in. So if women can hold on to that, even in the midst of the storm, I always kept my joy, but I also said, dance saved my life. It was my safe haven. It was my safe space that I would go to when I was like, okay, God, this is way too much to me. And lastly, I would say, because I know it's bigger than me, I can have this smile on my face today because I know I survived for a reason. And I used to think, God, why would you do this to me? Why would you choose me? And I thought, I would go in my prayer closet, girl, and I'd hear his voice and he'd be like, Andrea, Drea, darling, daughter. He was like, why not? I said, duly noted. But I know, again, it's bigger than me, and it's for me to share the journey. We don't need all the gory details. We know what that looks like, but what we don't know is what life is like after.
Right. And you've become a voice for so many women as a motivational speaker. And I mean, I think that message is so strengthening and empowering and beautiful. So we thank you for that. Now, how have you shielded your kids from everything that's going on? You have beautiful, amazing children, wholesome kids. Congratulations. That can't have been easy. How did you do that?
I didn't shield them. That's why they are who they are today. Because I think as a mom, that would be a great disservice from them, trying to shield them from a world that is very nasty, that is very cruel, that is very feminist. I had to prepare my children for what they would be up against, because they would have been blindsided. And we live in a world with social media. I can't control their social media 24 hours a day. And you'd be amazed at how sick some people are that will say things to innocent children that have nothing to do with it. But my children also know their life is their life. Their father's life is his life. That is his journey. You will be judged on your character, your merit, what you bring into this world, the energy you put out is what you're going to get back. And I was very real with my children at appropriate ages, though. What they could understand at 6, at 3, at 2. I was not going to tell them what I would tell them now that they're 24, 22, and 20 years old. So I have been preparing them since the day I left, because I wanted them to know. And for my son, I wanted him to know what healthy relationships look like and how you treat a woman. And for my daughters, I wanted them to know what healthy relationships look like and what to look for in a man and what you don't have to deal with. Period.
Amen.
I don't care who it is. Period.
Say less, girl. Say less. Period. T. That is so beautiful. Well, the last question, I know you don't have a lot of time, and I know we're going to see. I know right now the Belle Jetée is in the A, but I know we're going to see it in Vegas and New York, right?
Yes, that is the ultimate.
Look out for it. And if you're in Atlanta, you got to make sure you check it out. Last question, just because it's all over social media, your thoughts about Jocelyn Savage, who, of course, asked for leniency, says that your ex is her fiance, boyfriend, and wrote the judge asking for leniency. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't have any thoughts. And a lot of people shouldn't have thoughts either. You know why? Because it's not their life. It's my life. It's not my life. So who am I to have any type of opinion, what I feel about it, what she should have done, what she shouldn't have done? And I think that's the problem with social media. It allows people to chime into lives where you don't know the inside story. We will never know what she has to deal with, what she goes through, and why she made the decision she's making. All we can do is say, whatever you decide, let's support her and hope that she gets to wherever she needs to be in a healthy space, in a happy space, no matter what that is. That's how we uplift. That's what social media should be used for. That's what your mouth should be used for, to uplift people, to love on people, no matter what the situation is, not your opinion. Because at the end of the day, she didn't ask me, she didn't ask you, and she probably didn't ask the rest of the world either.
I am so here for that. And we have been treated today right now to some real motivation, some inspiration. And I love how you keep it positive, Drea. You are just amazing. And I want to thank you so much for kicking it with us on Spotlight. I wish you so much luck with the burlesque. I can't wait to see it.
An emotional and contentious day in the Chicago trial. You motherfucker.
Hello, everyone in the building. Hey, Mama Rogers. What's up, baby? Hey, Cecilia. What's up, ladies? What's up, Cherie? What's up, Indigo? Charisse. What's up, baby? Tanya, you're back. What's up, lady? Cecilia, what's up, Mama? Let's see who else is in the building. Jacqueline. What's up, Jackie? Just the T. What's up, Just the T? What's up, lady? Hey, LaShawn. Who else? Hey, Tears. What's up, Mama? Hey, Miss Pearson or Mr. Pearson. How are you? Welcome. And yeah, the judge already granted the he didn't grant them. He denied the motions. He sure did. And welcome, Just a T, for being a new member. Welcome, welcome, sister. Welcome. And thank you for that. Thank you for joining. I just feel like Drea knew more than she let on. I'm just saying. I agree, guys. I agree that she does know more than what she's letting on to us. She definitely was. And she is covering up. Yes. Are you still recovering from it? God bless you, Mama. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, Celia. May you heal very quickly. I can imagine, Miss Rogers. I can only imagine. Hey, Flawless, what's up, Mama? You know, it's a shame because, you know, I think honestly, you know, she was abused herself. So she's a victim. You know, she's a victim of his circumstance. Okay. At the end of the day, she did what she had to do to prove her loyalty and her love to him. Okay. We have to remember that a lot of these women were love bombed. They were coerced into this relationship with him because he wanted to use them for certain purposes. A narcissist always has to have a demand and supply. Always. One goes out, another one comes in. It's like a revolving door. But he has to always have his supply. Always. He can't be without his supply. Supply and demand. That's why he would have people recruit girls for him. He needed his supply and his demand. He was demanding and he needed his supply. Hey, West Coast, what's up, Mama? You know, so, yeah. That's what was going on with Mr. Kelly. Hold on. I'm trying to find the actual document, guys. Hold on. Oh, this was, I'm sorry. I mixed up the motions. I'm trying to find it. Where the hell this is? Yeah, it's the 31st. Where? I don't know what I did with it. Where is the actual motion I was going to read? Hold on, guys. I mean, Okay. Okay. I don't know what I did here. Oh no, I think, what did I do here? Hold on, guys. I think I grabbed the wrong paperwork. Where the hell did I put it? I gotta start labeling these things. No, this is not it. This was her shit. Ugh. Oh, where the hell I put that document at? Are you kidding me? Element to the government's proposed instructions. Wait. Where is... What was the last date we had? 29th. The 30th. Is this the one right here? Yeah, I think this was it. Thursday was the 1st, right? So I think this is it. Let me see. That's what I was doing. I'm so sorry, guys. I mixed up my file. Okay, here we go. That's why I was going to read this here. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I had the wrong document up. Pardon me, guys. Okay. All right, guys. The reason why I couldn't find it is because I didn't save it in the file itself. So I couldn't find it. All right. I apologize, guys. I'm sorry for making y'all wait. Well, in the meantime, keep calling up and saying what's up, guys. All right. Let me pull up the document. Okay. All right. Now, we all know that, of course, September 1st, which was Thursday, that there was the trial started over again. They went back to court. And that day, Judge Lindenweber decided to make his decision on the motions that were put in by McDavid, Brown, and Kelly to acquit, for an acquittal, right? So the judge Thursday started out the hearing with his decision. So that's what I'm going to read here for you guys. Oh, yeah, it was definitely denied. It was denied. Denied. But let's see why he denied it, okay? Okay. So the judge says, all right. Before the court, there are 3 motions for judgment of acquittal, pursuant to Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 29. Collectively, the defendants have moved for a judgment of acquittal on each count of the indictment. Counts 1 through 6. Defendant Kelly has moved for judgment of acquittal on counts 1 through 6 of the indictment. Each of these counts allege that defendant Kelly induced, enticed, or coerced Jane to engage in sexually explicit conduct to produce a sex tape, videos 1 through 4, in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2251A. Defendant Kelly alleges that the government failed to demonstrate both that he induced or enticed Jane, and that the sexually explicit conduct was for the purpose of producing the visual depiction. Kelly also argues that the government did not show that Kelly knew the tapes would be placed in interstate commerce. The court finds that the government has provided adequate evidence in support of counts 1 through 6, such that the decision should be left to the jury. Again, I'm going to read that again, okay? The court finds that the government has provided adequate evidence in support of counts 1 through 6, such that the decision should be left to the jury. The record contains testimony that Kelly enticed or coerced Jane into engaging in sexually explicit conduct, including the conduct that resulted in the creation of videos 1 through 4. Now, through Jane's testimony, the government introduced evidence that Kelly intended to make a visual depiction of their sexual encounters. Now, Jane testified about how she saw Kelly set up a camcorder, and that Kelly instructed Jane to say specific things to the camera. Now, Lisa Van Allen also testified that she saw Kelly set up a camera when he was filming video 4. The government argues that the law does not require that Kelly own Kelly's only purpose engaging in sexual conduct with Jane was to produce a video. Now, the court agrees, noting that the statute does not state that producing a video depiction must be a defendant's sole purpose in engaging in the sexual conduct. Further, Kelly's argument that the government failed to show that Kelly knew the tapes would be placed in interstate commerce is misplaced. The defendant's knowledge that a depiction would be placed in interstate commerce is only one of the ways that a 2251A, section 2251A, is satisfied. So actual transportation of the depiction in interstate commerce also satisfies the statute's requirements. So the government elicited testimony from Betty All Wang, who stated that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received video one from law enforcement across the country, not just in Illinois. So Lisa Van Allen, Charles Freeman, and Keith Merle all testified that they either watched or transported videos 2 through 4 in states other than Illinois. So Kelly raises a specific concern about count 6 pertaining to the certain creation of video 4. Kelly alleges that the government has no way to show that video 4 has contraband images because the government was not able to produce video 4. However, the government has elicited testimony from Jane and Lisa Van Allen about the contents of this video. Now, both women testified that the video depicted a threesome between them and Kelly, and that this encounter took place in the log cabin room at Kelly's home. Jane testified that she was 14 years old during this encounter. Viewing this testimony in the light most favorable to the government, the court finds that a reasonable jury could find that all the essential elements were met here beyond a reasonable doubt. So, the court denies Kelly's motion for acquittal on counts 1 through 6. Count 5. Defendants Kelly and McDavid both moved for acquittal on count 5 of the indictment. Now, this count alleges that these defendants conspired to obstruct justice in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 371 and 1519. Now, section 1519 prohibits knowingly for concealing, covering up, falsifying, or making a false entry into any record, document, or tangible object with the intent to obstruct an investigation of a matter within the jurisdiction of the United States. So on this count, the government alleges the defendants, Kelly and McDavid, conspired to cause people to make false statements in police reports, interview reports, and before a grand jury. Now, the government further alleges that defendants conspired to conceal child pornography stored on VHS tapes. As a threshold matter, the government argues that the government has not the defendant argues that the government has not proved the elements of the statute because the records were accurate, even if the statements made were false. So defendants also argue the videotapes do not qualify as tangible objects under Section 1519. Now, according to the Supreme Court, a tangible object under 1519 is one that can be used to record or preserve information. Yates versus U.S. 574 U.S. 528. Now, the Supreme Court states that documents or tangible objects include records, documents, or tangible objects that are stored on or that are magnetic, optical, digital, other electronic, or other storage mediums or devices. Now, this court finds that a videotape would qualify under the Supreme Court's definition. So, this court also finds that the alleged conduct, namely the defendants conspiring to cause false statements, falls within the purview of the statute, as it would result in the falsification of records. Now, defendants also raised the statute of limitations argument on counts 5. So the parties agree that this count is subject to the general 5-year statute of limitations for criminal offenses. As the original indictment was filed on July 11th of 2019, in order to have a valid claim, the government must show that an act made in furtherance of the conspiracy took place on or after July 11th of 2014. So the government points to specific payments made in late 2014 to 2015 by defendant Kelly, both to Jane and the defendant McDavid, as acts in furtherance of the conspiracy. So the defendants raise 2 main arguments in response. First, defendants argue that acquittal is appropriate because the statute is insufficient to sustain a conviction. Defendants argue that Jane testified that these payments were for rent and unrelated to the conspiracy. So defendants argue that the payments to McDavid were made pursuant to a settlement agreement in a completely unrelated civil case. In support, the defendants point to relatively minor penalty McDavid would face if he breached the terms of the settlement agreement. Now, in response, the government urges that the court that these payments must be put in context of the broader conspiracy and not viewed in a vacuum. And the court agrees. So, when put in context and viewed in the light most favorable to the government, the court finds that a rational jury could infer that these payments were made to keep Jane and McDavid from coming forward. The defendants next argue that even if a conspiracy to obstruct justice existed, it ended in 2008 after Kelly's acquittal in the state court case. Now, the defendants argue that acts of concealment are not sufficient to extend the scope of a conspiracy. So, in other words, to the extent that if Kelly was paying Jane and McDavid to be silent, this constitutes a new, distinct conspiracy. So, in support, defendants cite U.S. versus Nowak, 44-8 F2D 134, 7th Circuit. Now, there, the 7th Circuit stated that there is a rule that once an object of a conspiracy has been obtained and has been attained, the conspiracy terminates and no subsidiary conspiracy to conceal the crime may be inferred from the evidence showing merely that the conspirators took steps to avoid apprehension. Citing Grunwald versus United States 353 U.S. 391. Now, the Nowak court goes on to clarify that the duration of a conspiracy depends upon the scope of the agreement entered into by its members. Quoting United States versus Hickey, 360 F2D 127 7th Circuit. In that case, the 7th Circuit stated that determining the scope of the conspiracy is fact specific. U.S. versus Mackey, 571 F2D 376, 7th Circuit, 1979. An agreement to conceal must contain more than circumstantial evidence showing the conspirators took care to cover up the crime to escape punishment, citing Greenwald. In Mackey, the 7th Circuit stated that a jury could determine that a cover-up of a crime was one of the central objects of a conspiracy as originally conceived in a case about tax evasion. So defendants argue that acts of concealment cannot be sufficient to extend the scope of the conspiracy. However, the case law makes clear that if concealment was part of the original conspiracy, further concealment does extend the scope of the conspiracy. Here, the court finds that viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the government, a rational jury could find that sufficient evidence existed to infer that an agreement to conceal existed at the outset of the conspiracy. And thus, it could be extended. So it could extend to the payments of Kelly made to Jane and McDavid in late 2014 through 2015. Now, the defendant's final argument in support of acquittal on count 5 is the section 1519 requires contemplation of a federal action or investigation. Defendants argue that there is no evidence that any of them ever contemplated a federal investigation. Now, the government disagrees, arguing that Lisa Van Allen testified that she received immunity from federal authorities prior to her testimony in the 2008 state court case. However, the court does not need to reach this high bar. In Yates, the Supreme Court held that Section 1519 covers conduct intended to impede any federal investigation or proceeding, including one not even on the verge of a commencement. See Yates 574 U.S. at 574. Now, based on the Supreme Court's interpretation of 1519, and given the standard for Rule 29 motions, the court finds that a rational jury could infer the defendants contemplated that a federal proceeding was a realistic possibility. For these reasons, the court denies defendants' motion for acquittal on count 5. However, the arguments raised in defendants' motion will be considered when drafting the jury instructions about count 5. Now, count 6 through 13. Counts 6 through 13 relate to conspiracy to receive child pornography and actual receipt of child pornography in violations of Section 371 and 2252A2. All three defendants have moved for acquittal on count 6, the conspiracy count. Kelly and McDavid have also moved for acquittal on counts 7 and 13. Now, defendants argue that the only evidence that the government produced on these counts comes through the testimony of Charles Freeman and Lisa Van Allen. The defendants argue that these witnesses should be deemed incredible as a matter of law. The government argues that it has presented evidence from other sources on these counts, so including testimony from Jane and Keith Murrow. The court disagrees that acquittal as a matter of law is appropriate on these counts. Given the current record, the court will not substitute its judgment on the credibility of the witnesses for the jurors. So Kelly also specifically challenges count 13, which relates to the receipt of video 4. Kelly's argument on this count is the same as his argument for acquittal on count 6. The court denies Kelly's motion as it relates to count 13 for the same reason it denies Kelly's motion as it relates to count 6. And a rational jury could find that all three defendants conspired to receive child pornography and that Kelly and McDavid actually received it. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My daughter came in, had to take care of her real quick. Okay, let's continue. Now, counts 9, is that 9? 9 through 13. Counts 9 through 13. Defendant Kelly has moved for acquittal on counts 9 through 13. Now, these counts charge Kelly with enticement of a minor to engage in unlawful sexual conduct in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 2422B. Let me go water for a second. Now, Kelly argues that the government failed to prove enticement and that it failed to show that Kelly committed these counts using a facility and means of interstate commerce. The court disagrees with Kelly's assertions. The government introduced evidence sufficient for a rational jury to find that Kelly enticed minors to unlawful sexual conduct. For example, Jane testified that her conversations with Kelly were innocuous at first, but Kelly gradually began to speak to her about more sexual things, including phone sex and physical sexual conduct. The government also elicited evidence that Kelly asked Jane to approach Brittany and Pauline to engage in sexual activity with both Jane and Kelly. Tracy similarly testified that Kelly used other minor girls to induce Tracy into sexual conduct with Kelly. Nia testified that Kelly enticed her into sexual conduct through multiple phone conversations. Now, the government also introduced evidence that Kelly used a means of interstate commerce to commit the acts charged in these counts. Specifically, the government introduced evidence that Kelly would speak to the minors on the telephone. Through the testimony of Jane, Nia, Tracy, and Pauline. The telephone is a facility or means of interstate commerce, even when used in an intrastate fashion. See United States versus Richardson, the Seventh Circuit, 2003, citing the United States versus Marek, Fifth Circuit, 2001. See also 15 U.S.C. Section 78 DD, stating that interstate and intrastate use of a telephone would qualify as interstate commerce in a different context. So therefore, the court denies Kelly's motion for acquittal and 9 through 13. As a rational jury could find that the elements of the statute are met. And for those reasons, the court denies the motions for judgment of acquittal pursuant to Rule 29. Then Ms. Bonjean decides to interject and say, Your Honor, just for clarification purposes, we also raised in our Rule 29 motion that as to count 8, the government failed to show a violation of the predicate act that relates to Tracy, which was a sexual exploitation charge. that was the sexual activity, and it was, according to the government, a violation of 18 USC 2251A. I just wanted to make sure that the court indeed has denied that aspect of the motion as well. The judge says, I'm just reading what you just said. Ms. Bonjean says, the other inducement counts were predicated on violations of Illinois law and aggravated criminal sexual abuse. That particular count was predicated on a violation of 18 USC 2251A, and we did raise it in our motion, and I just want to make sure the court rules on that as well. The judge says, okay, I did. Yes. Bonjean says, okay. The judge says, we're ready. I'd like to, at this time, admonish the defendants of their right to testify. Can we start out with Mr. Kelly? Defendant Kelly and counsel conferring. Then the judge says, Mr. Kelly, the government has rested. We now move to the defendants, including yourself, to provide whatever evidence they wish to provide in defense of the case. You have a right to testify in your own defense, subject, obviously, to cross-examination. You have a right to remain silent and not to testify. And if you choose not to testify, you'd be entitled to an instruction to the jury that they cannot consider your declining to testify in any way on the merits of the case. Have you discussed this? Have you discussed with your attorneys whether you should testify in your own defense? Mr. Kelly says, yes, sir, I have, Your Honor. The judge says, have you had adequate time to discuss the issue with them and whether you should testify? Kelly says, yes, I have. The judge says, have you arrived at a decision whether you wish to testify in your own defense? Defendant Kelly says, no. The judge says, what is your decision? Defendant Kelly says, I'm not going to testify. The judge says, you do not wish to testify. Is that correct? Kelly says, that's correct. The judge says, Ms. Bonjean, have you discussed this with your client? Ms. Bonjean says, yes, Your Honor, we have discussed it. The judge says, and is it your understanding that he understands the issue, the right to testify and the right not to testify? Ms. Bonjean says, Mr. Kelly understands that he has the right to testify and also has the right to decline to testify and that it will not be used as evidence against him. The judge says, thank you. Mr. McDavid? Defendant McDavid says, I'm going to testify, Your Honor. The judge says, pardon? Mr. McDavid says, I'm going to testify, Your Honor. The judge says, okay. I just want, you do have a right not to testify. Do you understand that, sir? And you've discussed with your attorneys whether you should testify. Is that correct? Mr. McDavid says, absolutely, Your Honor. The judge says, and you've had adequate time to do that? Mr. McDavid says, yes, sir. The judge says, and you've arrived at a decision? Mr. McDavid says, yes, sir. The judge says, Mr. Brindley, have you discussed with your client whether he should testify? Mr. Brindley says, yes, Judge, many times and on many occasions, yes. The judge says, and you believe he understands what's involved in testifying and not testifying? Mr. Brindley says, I'm quite certain that he does. The judge says, okay. And Mr. McDavid, it's my understanding you wish to testify in your own defense. Is that correct? Mr. McDavid says, absolutely, Your Honor. The judge says, okay. Finally, Mr. Brown, if you can remove your mask for the moment, please. You understand that you have a right to testify in your own defense if you choose to do so. Obviously, subject to cross-examination. You understand that, sir? Defendant Brown says, yes, I do. The judge says, have you discussed this with your attorneys, whether you should testify in your own defense? Defendant Brown says, yes, I have. The judge says, have you had adequate time to discuss with them that whether you should testify or not? Defendant Brown says, yes. The judge says, have you arrived at a decision whether you wish to testify? Defendant Brown says, I choose not to. The judge says, you choose not to testify. Is that correct? Mr. Brown says, yes, sir. The judge says, okay, Ms. Judge, have you discussed this with your client? Ms. Judge says, I have, Judge. The judge says, you believe that he understands what's involved in testifying and not testifying? Ms. Judge says, yes, I do. The judge says, and you have, is it your understanding that what he told me, that it's his actual decision, he doesn't wish to testify? Is that correct? Ms. Judge says, that's correct. The judge says, all right, thank you. Now, there's a motion pending. Does it have to be ruled on, argued right now? The one Mr. Brindley filed or McDavid filed on the Palladino records? Mr. Brindley says, the government filed the motion. It needs to be ruled on today, Judge. It doesn't have to be ruled on right now, but it has to be ruled on today. The judge says, all right, let me ask you this. Is there a witness available right now? And Mr. Brindley says, we have witnesses available right now, but not one on this subject, if that's what you mean. The judge says, all right, fine. Mr. Brindley says, this witness, there is an issue with this witness, obviously. Mr. Glassman says, yes, Judge, that's another issue I want to bring up to this court when it's convenient, about the issue related to the witness relating to the Palladino documents. The judge says, well, what about the witness you have available right now? That Mr. Glassman says, he is on the 25th floor lobby. He's ready to go. Mr. Brindley says, we're ready to go, Judge. The judge says, okay, so there are no issues relating to whoever this is. Mr. Glassman says, no. Mr. Brindley says, no. The judge says, who is it? Mr. Brindley says, his name is, go ahead, Vadim. Mr. Glassman says, his name is Christopher Wilson. The judge says, okay, see if the jury is ready. We are ready for them. I'll be prepared to rule on your motion, but we need to have some argument on it. And that's all I I'd rather not keep the jury waiting if we have some questions to do so. Mr. Julian says, we need a minute, just like 30 seconds. The judge says, the witness can come in. We're ready. Mr. Julian says, just a real quick logistical question before the jury comes in. We want to make sure we're on the same page that the government will be cross-examining any witnesses that get called last. Mr. Brindley says, he means after the other defendants get the opportunity? Mr. Julian says, right. Mr. Brindley says, I think, Judge. The judge says, oh. Mr. Julian says, yeah. The judge says, yeah, probably that's the easiest way to do it. So then you wouldn't have to come back 3 times. So we will. What I said about the defendants, they can establish their own order, or if not, we would take them pursuant to the indictment. But it's my understanding Mr. McDavid is calling this witness. Mr. Gosman says, yes, Your Honor. Mr. Brindley says, yes, Your Honor. The judge says, all right, get him in. Then Ms. Bonjean says, Your Honor, do you need us to adopt any examinations on the record? There may be certain, the judge says, fine. I can either say that you can adopt it unless you specifically say you don't. Or Ms. Bonjean says, okay. The judge says, you can tell the jury that you're adopting it. That's probably the best way to do it. Ms. Bonjean says, very good. The judge says, say we adopt, so not to waste time or whatever. All right. Now the jury's in. The judge says, please be seated. Members of the jury, we broke Tuesday. I said we would start with the defense witnesses. And the first witness is one called on behalf of defendant McDavid. Could the witness come forward? Okay. All right. And that is the end of that, guys. So that's what happened on Thursday. So that's how the ruling went in court on Thursday. Now, I wanted to show you guys. Let me see if this is the right one. Okay. I wanted to show you guys the government's proposed exhibit list. Now, I posted it up on my community wall, one part of the exhibit list, okay? But there's 2 parts. Excuse me, let me get something to drink, guys. Now, after this, guys, at Miss Love is going to do another part of the reenactment of the trial. So he's supposed to be starting at 9 p.m. Okay, so guys, I want you guys to go over there and please go hang out over there and listen to the reenactment. They're doing a great job over there with his team of readers. Okay. And thank you all for your donations, because without all of you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. We really wouldn't. So I appreciate all your donations and everything that you guys have done to help us as a team effort. It's awesome. So now, let me do this real quick. Okay. All right. In the process, I'm going to spark of me spliff, okay? Yes, I am. It's that time. That was just a lot. Now, this is the government's proposed exhibit list, okay? The United States of America by John R. Lausch Jr., United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, submits this proposed exhibit list in anticipation of the upcoming trial that is set to begin August 15th of 2022. The government may supplement or revise this exhibit list as appropriate. Now, the second part was a revised one where they added more stuff. Okay. Now, here they have exhibits of video and audio recordings. Okay. So exhibit 001 is the disc containing video 1. 001-1 is the VHS tape containing video 1. Then they have exhibit 001A, which is the clip of video 1. And then they have part B, which is another clip of video 1. Then part C, which is a clip of video 1 as well. Then they have D, E, F, G, H, and I. And those are all clips of video 1. Then when they go to exhibit 002, it is the disc containing video 2 and video 3. Now 002-1 is the VHS tape containing video 2 and video 3. So for all the dum-dums who are saying that there was no VHS tapes, there were VHS tapes, and the government has those tapes. And the government decided to take certain clips from those videos so they could present it in court. They didn't need to show the whole entire video of the VHS tapes. They wanted to take clips, and they took clips and transferred it onto what? A DVD player. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that. That was the sun this time. Okay, so now that I explained that, okay, so now 002-1, as I said, has the VHS tape containing video 2 and 3. Now 002A through F is clips of video 2. So they had a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. They had 27 video clips all together from videos 1 through 3. You can see that, right? It's all 002. And then they have 003. And that's where they start off with video clips of video 3. Now, they also had Exhibit 004, which was video of R. Kelly Grammy Awards performance in 1998. Then they had photographs. The photographs were still images from video 1, and that's Exhibit 101. Then Exhibit 102 is still images from video 2. Then 103 is still images from video 3. Exhibit 104 is still image from video of R. Kelly Grammy Awards performance. 105 is photo of minor 3, which is Nia. 106 is photo of minor 4, Tracy. Exhibit 107, photo of minor 5, Pinky. 108 is a photo of minor 6, Brittany. 109 is a photo of Charles Freeman. 110 is a photo of Lisa Van Allen. 111 is a photo of Keith Murrow. Then they have photos of 1010 West George Street, 700 North Green Street. Then they also have photos of Track Studio. They also have photos from minor 1's Jane's passport. They also have photo of minor 1 Jane in basketball uniform. They also have a photo of minor 1 Jane wearing a necklace. Then they also have a photo of minor 1 Jane. They have photos of Milton Brown. They have a photo of the 12-play album cover. They have still image from video viewed by minor 4, Tracy. Then they have exhibits 200s. Now the 201, 202, and 203 are transcripts of the video 1, transcript of video 2, and a transcript of video 3. Now, Exhibit 301. These are documents and other records. Now, they have May 10th of 2002 transcript of the proceedings before the April 2002 special grand jury of Cook County. That's for witness minor 1, which is Jane. Then they have May 7th of 2002 transcript of proceedings before the April 2002 special grand jury of Cook County, witness minor number 5, Pinky. Then they have May 10th of 2002 transcript of proceedings before the April 2002 special grand jury of Cook County. The witness, minor one's mother, Susan. They also have May 10th of 2002 transcript of proceedings before the April 2002 special grand jury of Cook County. Witness, minor one, father, Brandon. Then Exhibit 305 is June 5th, 2002 indictment in People versus Robert Kelly, 02CR 14952. So they even have his indictment, as well as grand jury testimonies, the transcripts. Then in 307, they have minor one, Jane's birth certificate. Look at that. Wow, they got all the girls' birth certificates, so they know exactly how old they were in the years that they were. So they have birth certificates for minor 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Jane, Nia, Tracy, TBD, and Brittany. Who the hell's TBD? Okay. And then they have Robert Kelly's birth certificate. So they know exactly how old he was when these videos were made. Huh? Then they have Cook County record of 1010 George Street, the deed, transferring the ownership to Robert Kelly. They also have Cook County record for 1010 George Street deed, transferring ownership to Matthew Holsizer. Then they have December 7, 2000, the Chicago Police Department Youth Investigations Group report by Officer Dan Everett. 316 is Target Center in Minneapolis records. They also have Sony records. They have 318, which is Rich East High School transcripts for minor 4, Tracy. Transcripts proving her high school record that she graduated when she was 16 years old. 319, A through E. They have Palladino and Sutherland's records. 320, August 21st of 2001, agreement between Jack Palladino and Charles Freeman. 321, August 23rd of 2001. They have the polygraph examination permissions release forms. Then they have Bank of America records, signature card, a signature card for Jack Palladino. They have Southwest polygraph service records for Keith. They have it for Keith for 2 different days, April 17th, April 20th. Then they have the polygraph for March 23rd, April 20th, and July 26th for Lisa Van Allen. They also have the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children distribution report. They also have Recording Academy records. They also have Secretary of State records for RSK Enterprise, LLC. They have Secretary of State records for Bass Production. They have it for Winkler and McDavid. They also have state records for the PT Cruiser, the Yukon Denali. They also have state records for Robert Kelly. They also have state records for Daryl McDavid. They also have July 3rd, 2014 confidential settlement agreement and release between Robert Kelly and Daryl McDavid. They also have February 26, 2015 affidavit by certification of Daryl McDavid, Winkler and McDavid Ltd. and Daryl McDavid versus Robert Sylvester Kelly et al. Number 14L8620. I need to find that. I need to look that up. Let me highlight that, y'all. Okay. They also have order of dismissal, which is the Winkler and David LTD and Daryl McDavid versus Robert Sylvester Kelly. They also have the West Inn Chicago River North records. They have Atlantis Resort records. They have the Preferred Travel records. They also have Customs and Border Protection records for Milton Brown, Minor One, Minor One's mother, and Minor One's father. Now, financial records. They have Seaway Bank records, Lakeside Bank, Bank of America, American Express, Sun Trust, Wintrust, Citibank, the Private Bank, Chase Bank, Liberty Bank and Trust. Also, summary chart of payments to Minor One, Jane's family. Summary chart of payments to Milton Brown. Summary chart of payments to Daryl McDavid. That's not all, guys. That's not all. Okay, let's see. Okay. They also have Citibank statements for Winkler and McDavid for September of 2014. They also have Lakeside Bank, which was a $80,000 wire transfer to Winkler and McDavid. They also have Seaway Bank, a $30,000 check from Bass Production to Minor One's father. They also have Seaway Bank, $200,000 check from Bass Productions to Milton Brown, and a cash out slip. Seaway Bank, Bass Productions statement, and Citibank, Winkler, and McDavid statements for July of 2014. They have Seaway Bank, Bass Production statement, and $125,000 wire transfer request to Mayor Brown, LLP. Also, SunTrust Bank statement and $100,000 and a $50,000 wire transfers for Daryl McDavid, RSK Enterprises, LLC. They have SunTrust Bank for a $1,150 check from RSK Enterprise, LLC to Minor One, Jane. They also have Bank of America statement for $1,100 ACH payment to Minor One. Also, Liberty Bank statement and $10,000 and $100,000 checks to Charles Freeman, James Scott, July of 2009. And that was that, guys. So we just wanted to present our case to the people of the YouTube streets. So that's what the government has as their exhibits. Okay? List of items for discovery. That's their discovery, along with everybody else's testimonies that testified for the government. So, R. Kelly ain't got much of a fight. His ass ain't going no goddamn where. Yeah, Mayor Brown. Hey, Michelle. What's up, baby? I'm glad you fell out the bushes, lady. By listening to this, they going down. That's why Brown and Kelly not testifying. Right. It said Mayor Brown, LLP. Yes. Mayor Mayer Brown. That's right, honey. Hey, Tanya. Now, do they need to subpoena? And it's not mayor, it's mayor with an ER, like mayor, not the mayor of the city. Mayer, guys. Mayer Brown, LLP. She said, wait, I fell out the bushes. I'm stuck on Mayer Brown. What the fuck? And it's mayor, but not the mayor you think. It's Mayer, guys. SK said, my face is flushing. I'm such a pussy already. What? It's okay. Drink it warm. Oh my God. What are we trying to drink? My aunt used 100 proof Granddad to be exact. What are we doing for throats? What's going on? Sounds good. That's the tip. No peppermint. Are we really giving recipes going on in the chat? What's going on? Do a hot today, teaspoon tomorrow. Get better, SK, mommy. Probably because they changed the synonym Pinky to Pauline. Right, that was weird, right, Sharice? Like, what happened now? Sharice, I was thinking the woman in Texas. TBD, to be determined. Thank you, my love. Now I know, girl. I was like, TBD, ¿qué pasó? Who that? What's that? Who that person? They may have, shown the entire films and let them take it home for good measure with all that editing and photos. My God. Well, the government needed to do what they had to do to just present their case. They didn't need to see the whole thing. They just wanted certain parts just to prove their point. That's it. That's all. That burns your insides. Oh, man. Oh, man. I fixed it in the go, but it's blowing my head off still. Oh, man. Right, Ty. Can never have too much evidence. Exactly. Thanks, Kels, for all the evidence. 6 minors. Shaking my head. Oh, no. It's like expecting the victims in New York to still be minors. Duh, it was years ago. Right. Like, how can you still expect them to be minors? They're not minors. That's like when today, with Tracy's testimony, Bonjean was trying to confuse her with her age. That's why everybody was thinking that she was lying about her age, because Bonjean was trying to confuse everybody. OMG. Indigo, every time they make a stupid remark and I spout facts or ask for vetted facts, they block me. I miss the hell out of Twitter. It can take. You know what it is? They can't take your mouth, girl. You be spitting facts at them and they don't like that shit, girl. I'm not going back and forth with no one about the format of child porn. It shouldn't exist, period. Facts, Sharice, okay? It's 2022. Of course, they put it on a disc. Exactly. I can't with them. Exactly. They're still hanging their hats on. It's not the original video. Exactly. It's the dumbest shit I've heard. They have the original videos. Those are the videos of the copies. Of the copy of whatever lo que sea. It doesn't matter. It's still the actual video that was put out there. They just took parts that they needed to present their case. They didn't need to watch the whole fucking video. They already saw that shit probably a million times. And they don't want to torture the jury with the disgustingness. It's bad enough that they got to do what they got to do and show what they need to show. That's disgusting enough. It's like they skip the testimonies from the people who explain all this shit and skip to the witnesses so they can call them liars. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Okay, let's see what we got. What else? What else? Okay, I'm just trying to see anybody else had any questions or anything. Okay. Miss Pearson says he can testify because he can't testify because he'll incriminate himself more. He'll be like, y'all killing me with this shit, man. Is that camera on me? All right. I can't stand his supporters. I know, they're like the weirdest people. Right. Phone sex with minors. What are we doing? The judge and the jury is supposed to overlook that and be like, well, she was 14, 15 when she was on the video, but she said she didn't start having sex when she was like 15, but that shit doesn't fucking matter. She had sex with him at 15. He started fucking showing videos with her and him, whether it was 14 or 15. It doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that the government is proving their point, that this nasty ass man made porn with children. Period. That's it. A lot of cursing to the judge in their minds. Denied. Exactly. I wonder the look of their faces when they realized the motion was denied. I mean, like, did they really think the government, did they really think that the judge was going to say, release him, please, he's innocent? The judge put it down plain and clear as point can be, as simple as can be. He said all that crap that all these people did to do this motion for an acquittal was moot crap. He had to put it into consideration because that's what he has to do. He has to be a fair judge. He looked it over. He said, this shit is crap. What the fuck are you talking about? Get the hell out of here. Come again. I'll see you another day. What? The judge was not having that. Circumstantial. You know, I don't know why the defendants thought that motion to acquit was a good idea. It was so stupid. It was. It was a waste of time, space, and paper. Okay? That's what it was. We will be able to see that monster face justice. Amen. Hallelujah. Girl. Yes. LaShawn. Yes, the Chicago state trial can be televised. Yes, the state trial. Only the state trial, guys. They never, ever show federal trials on TV. Never. Will the next trial be public like the other two? Yes, the state trial will be public. Definitely. It definitely will. If Judge Flood allows the cameras, which I believe he did rule on, he was going to let the media in there. So, you know, he will be found guilty. Yes, he will. Yes, he was sentenced to 30 years, mamita. And he'll probably get 30 more. Who knows? Great ruling, Uncle Lenny. Yes, Uncle Lenny. I love it. Uncle Lenny, Auntie Ann, and we're going to have Cousin Flood. That's our cousin. Cousin Judge Flood. We got a cousin too, Levi. Fuck your cousin. We love our cousin. All right, guys. I love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by again, guys. I really do appreciate it. We got about 5 minutes for Atmos Love Zone to start his live. All right. Guys, remember, please, if you would like to donate for the transcripts, please do so if you can. It is much greatly appreciated, so we can continue to give you updates on the trial as if we were in court, guys. And Atmos and his team of readers is doing a wonderful job. Please, please go watch them, subscribe to his channel. Can somebody please put Atmos Love Zone's link in there? And anyone who is in this chat right now, if you are a content creator and you have a wrench, please put your channel link in the chat so people can follow you and subscribe to your channel. Thank you. The defense is into trying any and everything to get off. I hope he gets at least 60 years. I'm confused whether they will go ahead. Is it relevant to the outcome of this one if the state ones actually happen? You know what? I'm not even sure about that, sweetheart. 195. Give him all the fucking years. Michelle! She said, wonder what McDavid is going to say on the stand. Girl, he's going to throw that bitch under the bus. That's what I think. You're very welcome, guys. We love you guys. We come and do this for you guys, okay? Yes, see ya all at Atmos's house. You're welcome, guys. Thank you, Mama. Touching inappropriately, exactly. Shaggy wasn't me, so he say... If R. Kelly testifies, he will have a tantrum. We know he's not. He said he wasn't. They got more than what they need, dumbasses. You should have known the government was going to be ready and waiting. For real, Ty. Word up. Girl, yes. Yes. McDavid may throw Rapey Kelly under the bus. He just might. So, guys, please hit my Cash App, $ Diva Divine Light, if you would like to donate to the transcripts. Also, you can hit up my PayPal. It's also Diva Divine Light. I also have Zelle. For those who don't want to do it that way, it's 347-664-9253. In the section of a little note or the 4-part or message, please put 4 transcripts, okay? And if you want to donate to me, the content creator of this channel, me, the one and only Diva Divine, please make sure you put this is for you so that I know that that donation is for me. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and coming. And yes, McDavid is about to sing like a canary. Okay. That's what I think is about to happen too. But like Flawless said, or Tanya said earlier, I don't remember which one it was who said that. But yes, McDavid might just put Kelly under the bus, or he might just protect himself and Kelly. One never knows. One never knows. And this is for all you groupies out there. All right, guys. I love you guys. Please make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Don't forget, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the Diva. Thank you very much. Hit the notification bell. Put it on all. Okay? So you can see me every single time. For those on the replay, please leave your comments in the comment section below in the video. Make sure they're respectful. They won't get deleted. Okay? Because my girls will snipe your ass, or I will. One or the other. And your girl, Diva Divine Light, is out. Peace.